really excited to introduce two people from the Pumpkin Pet Insurance Company with their new offering, which Howard's helping take to market through channels and alliances. Howard Tarnoff, a longtime industry guru, and then Michael Landsberger. We'll let you guys introduce yourself, of course. We're thrilled to have you. For those that need a primer, jump right into the Town Hall schedule tab. You'll see at the top, here's our guest of honor. You can click through and visit their profiles and connect on LinkedIn, all that good stuff. For those that don't already know the others on the call, you can click the show registrations button and network a little bit. Feel free to click the social share and it'll give you a choice of where you might want to spread the word. There are a couple social posts out there, but can always have more. Why not? And it'll put in their handles and things for you to make it a little easier. So with that, let me hand it over to Howard, if you would, take it over from here, and looking forward to learning more about the new Pumpkin Wellness Program.
Good morning, everyone, and good afternoon, Christoph. My son is in Berlin, and I was fortunate enough to spend 17 days with him just a few months ago and miss him terribly, but that's where he lives. It was just a wonderful time over there. For those of you who do not know me, I tell people I started in human capital management at the age of 9. Back in 1978, I was the third person in the world to fly out to, at that time, Braintree, Massachusetts. And a guy named Mark Ain picked me up at the airport and drove me over to his office and showed me this big box, which was a computerized time clock, and wound up selling my business to Mark back in 1985. In 1989, they moved me from the economic hub of the universe, Green Bay, Wisconsin, to Massachusetts, where I worked alongside Jim Kislevich in product and industry marketing, and then was recruited by a company called Simplex. And we launched the first Windows-based workforce management solution called WinStar, and Cronus bought us. I said to Aaron, I'm not coming back. Went on from there and wound up as a company called WorkBrain with David Ossip for 7 years, and then was the senior VP and general manager of a company called Ceridian. So I really have two loves. One is human capital management, and the other is customer success. I came to the conclusion early in life that without employee engagement and employee experience, it's my belief that true customer success, which is proactive engagement leading to advocacy, is really not possible unless you have employee engagement and employee experience. Since leaving Ceridian in 2017 to the best job of my life, which was being a caregiver for my wife for 5 years, I've been doing gig work and consulting. Was introduced to Michael and Pumpkin. It's my pleasure to be rolling Pumpkin out through HCM companies and benefit companies as an employee benefit. I have 2 dogs, by the way. I have 2 golden doodles. I have Bogart, who weighs about 14 pounds. Teacup Poodle was his dad, and the full-size golden retriever was his mom. So you guys can figure that one out. He's the most human dog I've ever had in my entire life. I've had dogs since I've been 6 years old. The other one is Bacall. So I have Bogart and Bacall. Bacall is 5. Bogart was born on an Easter Sunday, and Bacall's birthday is 9/11, and she is a domestic terrorist. Those are my dog stories. So let me flip this over to Michael, and Michael will tell you all about the difference between pet wellness and pet insurance. One is proactive, the other is reactive, and just like customer success, you want to be proactively engaging. Hopefully everybody comes away with a real clear understanding of the differences.
Thank you, Howard. Good to meet all of you. I do not have any background in the space that you all are part of beyond being employee. I do have a lot of background in pets. I won't bore you too long with my animal experience, but there was a dog in my home the day I came back from the hospital when I was born. Since then, we've had multiple dogs, cats, gerbils, hamsters, fish. We had snails at some point, a guinea pig, 2 birds, and a rabbit, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I adopted my own dog as a grown-up about 15 years ago. So she's 15 and a half now. Her name is Zelda. She is the love of my life. I also have a fiance who I also love. And then she has a dog, Charles, who is my stepdog. Suffice to say, pets are a pretty big part of what I do. My background professionally is a bit more on the tech side. So I've been a startup guy for most of my days. About 6.5 years ago, I co-founded Pumpkin. Pumpkin started as a pet insurance company. That was our primary focus. I don't know if any of you have heard of us. And if your pets don't have insurance, may I suggest you look into it. They're fantastic. I like those nods. So we had a perspective that helping people get pet insurance, and not just any pet insurance, but a high quality pet insurance, will improve people's ability to care for their pets, quite simply. And we had a big focus with veterinarians and ultimately increasing financial access to care.
Your current role, you're a co-founder, right? And
That's right.
Chief Growth Officer. So you're managing the product and collaborating with Howard to grow the company.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's a good transition. So we have two products today. One is our insurance product, which I was just talking about. The second is a more wellness focused product, which is what I'm here to talk about. So today I lead our wellness business. Wellness comes in a lot of shapes and sizes. We're really excited to be bringing it to employers and employees in particular, because there's a lot of opportunity there and a lot of good reasons to be offering wellness, certainly in addition to insurance, but potentially instead of as well. I can talk a bit more about that. We launched 2020, which was a super chill time to launch a new business. You might remember, not a lot going on in the world. We've always had a wellness add-on. So this is the way that you can buy insurance, then you could complement that insurance product with something else that focuses a bit more on proactive care. We've had people forever asking us to just sell a wellness solution. And there's a lot of reasons why somebody maybe isn't the right fit for insurance, or maybe wants something in addition. So just to frame the difference that we talk about when we say insurance versus wellness, insurance fundamentally is reactive. It's critical, don't get me wrong. It covers accidents and illnesses, often unexpected. My dog, which I talk about a lot and somehow have neglected to put any photos of, when she was 11, she had stage 4 periodontal disease, which is basically a dental illness. We took out half of her teeth, and that cost about $7,000. Insurance covered all of it. So we are big believers in insurance and the Landsberger family. But insurance can be expensive. It's averages about $60 a month for a new pet. It's also not always available to pets of every age. So some companies will not allow you to enroll a pet if the pet is too old. And then no insurance company will really cover pre-existing conditions. Depending when insurance falls in your lap, it might not be a great fit necessarily, or it might not cover everything. And insurance is also highly regulated, which I probably don't have to tell all of you. So again, we're big believers in it, but it's not necessarily a fit for every customer. The other thing I don't include here is that it's a little difficult, I think, for a newer pet owner to understand the value of insurance. Their pet is young, probably healthy, right? Just some vaccines. Maybe you're more worried about it clawing you than clawing another animal, but you're very focused on the well care. It's not until you've had a pet for longer, you've been through a scare or two, maybe you've actually seen the full life cycle of a pet, end of life care can be quite expensive, that pet insurance starts to become more topical. That was the other reason why we brought wellness to market, was to cover those things. Ultimately, wellness is focused on proactive care, routine care, etc. All things that in the human health world would just be covered as part of your health insurance. It's a little different in the pet space because technically pet insurance is a P&C product. We can adjust the pricing to fit the product, the audience, etc. for existing conditions. There's no restrictions based on age. Pricing is very simple and flat. So it's just a much simpler product, I think, for people to understand and for pet owners to adopt without any kind of restrictions. So that's a big difference between the two.
Michael, do you sell to the HR person or who do you sell to?
We have a couple different ways of selling. We do obviously some direct consumer business. We have a lot of partnerships out in the B2B world. As it relates to this, we can sell to a number of people. A broker, the HR person. We are right now doing most of our employee benefits through more of a direct bill solution. We'll offer a discount. The employee can enroll themselves, but we're looking to partner with companies and do more direct integrations and payroll deduct.
What size companies do you sell to?
Direct bill, looking for companies that are probably 100 members or more. Once we get the payroll deduct to the admin side, I think we're pretty flexible.
Thank you.
I hope more people interrupt me with questions. That's my favorite way to do this. So please chime in. That's a lot more interesting than me just talking at you the whole time. So a bit more about wellness and why is this something that we think should be offered not just through veterinarians, but also as an employee benefit. At the end of the day, pet parents want to keep their pets healthy. A lot of you are pet owners. Clearly, it's a big part of my life. Something like insurance is great if something goes wrong with your pet, but it's a lot better if nothing goes wrong with your pet. You want to keep them healthy as much as possible. We're seeing more and more, certainly as the economics of the world change, but even prior to some of the recent downturns, pet owners are deferring important well care due to cost. It's expensive out of pocket. You're seeing a lengthening of the care cycle. People used to go pretty consistently for their checkup once a year. Now it's every 14 months, 16 months, 18, even 24 and beyond. People are just avoiding this kind of well care unless they feel like something is wrong. But of course, by the time something is so wrong that you go to the vet, it's now very expensive to treat and obviously could be incurable at that point as well. So we want to really focus on getting people in for preventive routine care, both to prevent issues from happening, but also to catch them early and treat them in a much more cost-effective manner. Our wellness solution at the end of the day makes that care easier, more predictable, limits large out-of-pocket expenses, and also helps pet owners save money. So that is the big thesis of what we're offering here and why we think it's so important and why I personally am very passionate about it. I told you about my dog who had half of her teeth out. But I didn't tell you that I didn't know a whole lot about caring for a pet, despite having a lot of them as a kid, at least in today's modern medicine. My poor dog never got a dental cleaning because I just didn't think that was something that you did. And look where it got me. So we're trying to help people understand not just how to save money and care for their pet, but also what is important to do every year. Beyond kind of the focus on just pet health, we're also seeing that employees want this too. There's a lot of added value, both at the employee level, but of course at the employer level. There's a lot of metrics in here. When a pet is sick, it is a very impactful moment for an employee, right? They're going to focus on that. They might be taking time off of work. As today's pet parent is more of a parent and less of an owner, that's stronger and stronger. Obviously, this is a big direction companies are moving, is to offer more voluntary and non-financial benefits. It's very expensive to have a pet owner who's an employee who is either taking time off work, potentially leaving the company to go join a company that does have better pet benefits, or is frankly just distracted with their pet's issue. At the end of the day, we think this is a great solution, like I said, not just for employees, but for employers to offer. Before I move on, I just want to pause on this one because I think this is a big point as far as the worlds that you all live in. Is this consistent with what you've seen in the market? Anybody feel differently about what we're showing here?
Although I don't have a pet, I know it's extremely important to a lot of people I know. And I do believe that getting good employees is tough these days. If this is a differentiator for a company, that's a big thing. I think this is a great service.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Bill.
I know we have insurance offered through my employer, but I didn't take it. And I honestly didn't really look at it. Partly because my biggest concern is I don't know if there's a network or how it works, but I tend to work with vets that take a more holistic approach. And sometimes those are not the mainstream perspective.
Tons of sense, Don. My next slide talks a bit more about what a wellness plan is and actually speaks to one of your points. So what is this thing I've been talking about beyond just wellness care? What are we actually trying to offer to people? And they are basically plans that help pay for crucial routine care. So you can see a list of some of what we cover. For what it's worth, Dawn, something like a titer, which I know a lot of more integrative medicine vets will practice, would be covered under the blood work category here. We'll offer vaccines because we think that's important, but titers are absolutely part of our care suite. You can see at the bottom, how does it work? It's very simple. Your vet does not need to be part of any network. There's no approval process. You go to any vet, and we cover any vet in the US and Canada. You pay them just like you normally would. You upload your invoice to the Pumpkin portal. Very simple, all digital. And we say we will pay you back in a few days. We average under 1 business day typically. So we are putting money back in pockets of people very quickly. You can do that by direct deposit or check. This is at a high level how the product works. And to get into a bit more detail, these are the packages that we offer. We try to keep it very simple. There are 3 packages, different ones for dogs and cats. And you can see the dog products are a little more expensive and have a bit more coverage. Typically, we've seen that treating a dog and caring for a dog in a routine perspective is just a bit more expensive. Our cat owners, I am a former one myself, we found cat owners would be a bit more price sensitive when it comes to expectations around care. So we're trying to basically meet the customer where they are. How does it work? It's pretty simple. You can see at the top here, we have these certain benefits we cover and effectively built this like a benefit schedule. So we'll reimburse up to a dollar amount per year per service. That is across multiple services. So if you bring your dog in 3 times and it costs $100, we will reimburse you $100. It's a one time or the dollar amount, whichever one is lower. As the plans scale up, we have in some cases additional coverage. So we go from $100 of vaccines a year to $150, or additional services will include. So in the premium bundle, we add parasite prevention, typically like in heartworm preventions. We also cover spay, neuter, or routine dental cleaning. It also includes the veterinary oral health council products. There are certain products that the VOHC will have approved that say these are helpful for oral care. Think about brushing your dog's teeth, chew, things like that. We'll cover that too if you don't want to be bringing your dog in for dental cleaning every year. I think you should, but we know most people don't. And ideally, you are not spaying and neutering your dog more than once, because if you are, something has gone terribly wrong. So that's a routine care focused reimbursable element. We've also added what we call freebies. These are just value-added inclusions that are available to anybody regardless of package. The one that I'm personally the biggest fan of is our call support. It is a 24/7 pet helpline available via text, chat, phone, or video. Hey, my dog has just eaten a bunch of chocolate. Do I have to go to the ER? My cat maybe had some blood in their stool. What should I be doing? Or just simple behavioral questions. Hey, my dog just turned 1. Should I be changing their diet? Or they're barking a lot, or the cat is spraying, which is everyone's favorite feline issue. What do I do? This is another cost-saving device, right? It is very expensive to go to the ER. If you can defer that visit until the next day and visit your primary GP, way more affordable. And also, you can reduce the chance that an employee is taking time off of work because rather than going to the vet, maybe they'll actually hear, hey, this is okay, don't worry about it, which ironically is often the case with chocolate. As long as it's milk chocolate, it's usually not problematic. Dark chocolate, much bigger problem. So you can get a lot of help there. We're a customer to enroll in a health helpline directly. That's going to cost them over $100 a year typically. So this is just built-in savings. And then lastly, discounts on top brands. On the dog, we give away an activity tracker, a wearable, so you can see what the pet's doing, GPS tracking, and we've also secured other great discounts on top brands that we value north of $200.
Let me point out one thing, and I know this unfortunately from firsthand experience. When you call the emergency hotline, the way it works in Florida, the first thing they ask you for is a credit card, and then somebody will call you back. This is different. This is available 24 hours a day, no credit card required, and you're talking to experts. That's just a huge benefit.
Yeah, it's a great call out, Howard. Everybody who staffs this is a vet tech or a DVM. We're looking to bring this product to market through HR people and let them bring this as a benefit. All employees who are part of the program get 10% discount. I'll let them bring this benefit forward. At that point, once the employee has enrolled, they will become one of our customers. We will engage with them the way we would engage with any customer.
So if I'm a VP of HR, how does this help me? I think you had one slide on it, which is very good.
Yes, that's this slide. You're spot on, Bill. This is the value and what's in it for the employer and the HR person and the brokers as well. At the end of the day, you're going to have happier employees, you're going to have better retention, maybe better employee acquisition as you've got a new benefit that is pet forward in a time when people are focused on their pets. It is really beyond everything else. It's a financial trade-off, right? When you've got people who are focused on sick pets, you have a problem. We think our care can help those pets stay healthy, limit the risk of something really substantial developing because you're catching it early. At the end of the day, lead for a better workforce.
Who sells to the end user employee? Do you get the chance to do that, or is that through the HR people, or through the broker, or how does that work?
We supply a full marketing suite. We have content and collateral that, whether it's the broker or the HR team, they can send it out directly to the employees. Again, if there are opportunities for an integration and a payroll deduct, we're happy to bring that to life. And then it's baked into the full open enrollment or just general benefits enrollment process. We make it really easy, and we're happy to take on the marketing task or provide the right team at the company with the information and assets that they need to bring this to employees.
At a minimum, then the employees can go direct and get a plan. If it is offered to the employer, it's 10% off. That's the minimum. Maybe the employer will pay all of it. Maybe they don't pay any of it, but they'll get at least 10% off if the company offers it.
Exactly.
Essentially.
Yeah, there's no need for the employer to contribute. Obviously, we think that's better, and I suspect most employees would too. But either way, we're looking to create a benefit and make sure that someone can get access to discounted care if it's being promoted to their employer, or if the employer chooses to contribute. Of course, it's even more affordable. That's just about it as far as my content goes.
Do you have a minimum? Like if a company has 1,000 employees, do you have a certain percentage for them to be able to offer it, or one is enough?
We're looking to have employer groups that are larger than 100, so to stick with that, but there's no minimum as far as adoption goes. So if one person in that group takes it on, we will not cancel or decline. There's no group necessary.
Michael, do bigger companies get better terms?
They do not in our standard offering. I'd say happy to have a more customized conversation if there's a really substantial company, and especially if there's a contribution component. I think we could probably figure something out.
Do you have something that you can send out by way of materials that I could share with our benefits team? We've got almost 4,000 employees.
Absolutely.
So is this something that is just US?
Yeah, as of right now, the pet needs to reside in the United States. We'll cover the care if it happens in Canada, but the pet has to be a US resident, as they say. We're looking to expand it, but as of right now, it's US focused.
I think Christoph on the phone has a question. Is that right?
I like only to give a short insight. I heard from not only one person, due to the pandemic, they decided to get a dog or a cat or whatever. Now, many companies, the back to office initiative. And I know from some people said, okay, if I don't have a possibility to be at home to look after my cat or dog, I would change the company. So the cat or dog is more important than the job. And that is really much astonishing. So that offering might be very important for companies. Look after retention of people in the back to office initiative. So it's a great story you shared with us. Thank you.
Thank you for the insight, Christoph.
Yeah, that's a great point. Most of the people that I know about their kids or they call them fur babies. And it's family. I went through this dermatology thing with one of my dogs and it keeps you awake at night. So it is a significant benefit and HR is embracing it. So it's great.
Can we switch to the channel discussions now? I'd love to hear what's the opportunity for potential partners to offer this as part of their solution? Can it be white labeled or co-branded?
The offering is Pumpkin. When you're signing up for benefits, either through open enrollment or there's a new benefit, it's like any other. You can see the impact on your check. I'm referring back to my days at Dayforce. We had this module called Benefit Shopping. Our go-to-market strategy is payroll, HR, benefit providers, anybody who's touching the employee population, and large standalone employers as well. Anybody who's got more than 100 employees under a roof, they should be considering this for all the reasons in the slide that Michael shared. That's what I've been doing all day, every day, is talking about this to people that I've known for the last 3 decades plus in the industry, and like for some UKG and on.
So what would be their opportunity? Would they get a commission, or can they mark it up?
We have a revenue share program. So there is a financial incentive to the payroll and HR and benefit companies.
Howard, I have to imagine that the adoption percentage in any one of your employer relationships is super important. How are you guys scaling the enablement? Because that makes or breaks adoption, I would imagine, especially at large organizations.
Yeah, exactly, Jim. Michael, you want to talk about the back end?
So I mentioned at the beginning, we started as a news company. We have 6-figure active insurance members and a team that supports that pretty effectively. To highlight that on the insurance side, we rolled out a new service about 6 months ago called Pumpkin now for critical care scenarios. So that is a vet bill that is $500 or more. Somebody's trying to make a decision. Can I afford to pay for this care? Or I've already paid for it. I've already said yes, but I don't have the money to pay for it right now. We will actually adjudicate that claim and pay the customer before they walk out the door of the vet in less than 15 minutes, and we average 8. Our team is not just effective at moving through capacity, but we do it in a very timely way that enables that care piece. It's a big focus of ours. On the insurance side, our primary go-to-market is through veterinarians. And as you might imagine, if a veterinarian recommends our business and then we provide their customer a bad experience, they're not coming back. So we've built that an ecosystem that is very effective at scaling and enabling. Then I mentioned we're part of JB. Across the board, we are north of 2 million pets. So we've got a pretty big operation. We have a lot of room to bring this on, and we've got a team and a technology that can do it pretty seamlessly.
Where do you see the touch points on the product side, particularly for the program? Is there a technical integration, or is it just a link in their offerings? What's it look like on the experience side?
There is not an integration with the HCM platform. We have a website. We will co-brand the landing page, Pumpkin and Employer. The 10% discount will apply automatically, so it's very seamless. People can enroll. It's all mobile optimized. They can do it on their phone. We've got a fully digital end-to-end member center, so people can log into that very easily and upload their claim. We've also got a strong customer service team available via email and phone as well. I think our hold times right now are averaging about 40 seconds, so we answer those calls pretty quickly, and we can scale that team up pretty easily. On the direct bill side, it's very straightforward. Were there to be an integration on the HCM side for the right employers, it would just be baked into that enrollment flow. We would obviously have the integration. We would receive a file on the employers, and then we would kick out activation emails to the activated parties and treat them as our normal customers.
Howard, another question for you. I'm a huge ecosystem guy, and 8 of the largest ecosystems from mid-market to enterprise. I wonder if this would work through an ecosystem approach. They all have marketplaces. Typically, the ISVs and the SIs are all there. But I would think that the exposure to and from all of the clients within the ecosystem of an SAP, Workday, Oracle, and then ADP, Cornerstone, UKG, that's another viable way of getting recognition, so to speak.
Jim, you're exactly right. The last thing you want to be is a dead tile in a marketplace. And the way around that is there has to be an incentive for the partner team to promote you. And what's the incentive? The incentive is a revenue share. The good news is there's no cost of goods sold, so it's pure EBITDA. And you know how that works. There are some companies that have really great partner teams in HCM, and there are other companies, right?
SAP has a pay-to-play model. The reps actually retire quota when they successfully move something. Is that something that you can manage to? It's a 15% revenue share, but that's an interesting play to get them to position it to all of their clients.
You're exactly right. And all of those things are table stakes. And those are the conversations that I'm having now.
Howard, do you think it'd be valuable to show the revenue opportunity slide? Because we actually calc out a 15% commission just to give you all a visual of how we're imagining it. Right now, the average plan price is about $35 a month. That's blended across your dogs and your cats and your essentials, premiums, and your elites. In a world that we're offering that 15%, which is what we've baked out, and assuming 500 employees per employer, you can see on the right what that recurring commission looks like. We'll pay that commission out as long as the membership is active. It's a really substantial opportunity, and we're definitely committed to making sure everybody's a part of it. So the financial opportunity is pretty substantial.
What's the percentage people will sign up for it?
It depends, obviously, if the employer is contributing or not. That can play a pretty big difference. We see about 20 to 40% adoption. On average, 70% of the population has a pet. We're talking at the low case, $21 a month. And the scheme of benefits being offered, not that high. So we think there's a way to get that adoption much more substantial. And obviously, when the employer is paying for it, you're well beyond that 40%, right? 60, 80%.
Just straight 35 EPL at 15%. For a resell channel, that's lucrative. If you resell payroll systems, for instance, they're only $25 per EPM. Of course, you go through a whole employee population.
So here's one of the thoughts. If I were an employer, I might say, I'm going to turn on the essential program for any employee who raises their hand. I have a pet, either a dog or a cat. I'm going to turn that on for you, and that's going to be your benefit. If you want to go to premium or elite, you as the employee have the opportunity to do that by paying the delta through payroll deduction to cover the expense to go to the next plan. Does that make sense, Bill?
It does, yes. Thank you.
I also would like to share this with our HR team. Big believers in the employee experience, and starts with candidate experience, then employee experience, and then you're going to provide a better service to your customers. We're big believers in that across Tang and Company.
We need more Fridays with furry friends.
Yeah, bring your furry friend to the next sync up.
I want to meet Dawn's cow. This has been
Wow.
really great. I'm enlightened and excited. I could see this being a big power play on the channels because as much as I love HR tech, it's a lower tech kind of solution, and all the stuff that breaks in the higher tech stuff, you don't have to deal with that. It's all about what are you going to do with the money that you get on the commissions. That's the fun part everybody loves. So we'll do that. Lots more to learn, I'm sure, but learned a lot today. Thank you for that. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being a member, Howard and company. Very excited to help get the word out there and look forward to hearing updates.
Thank you very much. And Ward, thank you for hosting us. I will get some information out to you guys. Thank you very much.
A huge shout out to our 2,000 plus members, especially our founding and corporate members, for their continuing support of the HR Tech Alliance's community platform. It's our subscribing members who provide the primary funding that powers our community platform and empowers our mission.